Hello there! Welcome to the Fun Kitty Teach family. My name is Stephanie. I am a first-year SPED teacher in Northern California. I have actually just been hired for my job. I have not actually started the job at the time of the filming, September 21st, 2020. I have not actually started my job. I'm just working on the employment and paperwork packets and stuff, but I have talked to my principal, so I've been able to figure out a little bit about the job. So I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about my job as that I'm understanding right now, and a little bit about my history in getting this job, so that way if you are applying for jobs, you understand a little bit about the process that I had to go through. So what am I doing exactly? The way that my school is structuring it, from the sound of things from just talking with the principal, is that our side is more of an RSP model, which stands for Resource Specialist Program, or I think something like that. Basically, there's two different ways that most people are familiar with special education settings. One is an SDC model, or a special day class, or self-contained class. The other one is an RSP setting where the teacher is doing push-ins and pull-outs, and I'm doing more of that model. I believe my technical title has SDC, but our side does RSP. So there are two of us that are credential teachers on the side for special education. I will be working with the K4 students. My partner will be working with 5-6 students. We also both have an aide for both of us to help out with them. The way that my aide and I will probably be structuring it is she will be working with K1 students, and I will be working primarily with the 2 through 4 students. And because that's kind of what she's already been doing, so why not just keep her in what she's doing, which is fine for me. So that's how that is going to be working. That's about the logistics that I know right now of my job, so I can't tell you any more than that. How did I get my job? The nitty-gritty of the hiring process for me, I interviewed about 2 weeks ago with a different site that had an RSP position, and the principal called me to tell me that he really liked me, but of course I have to wait for human resources for the official offer. He calls me later so I interviewed with him on a Wednesday. On a Friday, he called me back to let me know that unfortunately human resources placed somebody else in the position, not me obviously, but he recommended me for what's called an open contract. Fast forward last Friday, so this has now been a week later. So the special education department in the school district that I'm working in reached out to me and said that they would like to interview me, and they told me it was for an open contract position. An open contract position basically means that I am contracted to work for that district. I just don't have my school site placement yet. What will happen though is that the district will look at where their needs are at, and then they will themselves place me in a position, meaning I don't have to interview it anymore after that point. So that is what happened. I interviewed in the morning with the special education department. I met with 2 ladies in the special education department. And that afternoon, I got a call from someone in human resources asking me for an open contract. So this was Friday, 3 days ago, which would have been the 18th. So the 18th of September, I got a call from human resources for an open contract. Today, September 21st, I got the call from human resources that says, we have placed you, here is your site, here is your principal, and then the principal is the one that actually contacted me from there. So now this whole weekend I've been working on my employment stuff and getting all of that handled. So that's the history of how I got in my position. The other thing I'm going to touch on really fast is the credentialing program that I went through, because it's actually a little bit different than most people. I went to university. I did a year of community college when I first graduated high school. Then I went to a 4-year college in Colorado, which is where I was living at the time. At the time, I was majoring in elementary education. I did all of the classes for the degree except for special education. At that point in time, I was questioning things in my life, and I ended up not student teaching. Instead, I was working at a summer, and I was able a camp at a summer, and I was able to use that as kind of an internship idea to be able to get the credits to graduate. So I essentially graduated with the interdisciplinary studies liberal arts degree with a humanities emphasis. Fancy way of saying teacher, but no certificate. So that was back when I originally went to my 4-year degree. Fast forward a few years of my life, I'm still have this desire to be a teacher. It's been with me since I was forever young. And there was a private university near me that offered a credential and master's program combined. So I went ahead and went into that program. I got to the point where I was student teaching in that program, but things quite weren't working out that quite for me. Different logistics and stuff, and different things and stuff, and it wasn't quite working out for me. So I ended up not finishing, which means I did not finish my master's also because I couldn't do the thesis because it was a combined program. A few years ago, I was actually working as a library tech at a local school, elementary school, and one of the teachers at the site was a brand new teacher, and she mentioned that she was in an intern program. I asked her a little bit more about it, and I found out that she gets to earn her credential while she works as a teacher. Pretty cool for people switching careers, right? So I researched, I applied for the program, and I got accepted. 2 years ago, in spring 2017, I took the pre-service classes for multiple subject credential, which is your general teacher, basically. Unfortunately, I was unable to find a job in the summer of 2017, so I was not able to finish. Summer of 2018, last year, still no job in multiple subject, couldn't continue. I decided by then that fall that that the program also has a special education route, so I wanted to go ahead and go that route also, and they totally let me into the program. So spring of 2019, this last spring, February through May, I took some classes with some other folks for the prerequisites for the special education credential, mild moderate. Finished those courses, and I have been looking all summer for a job. I've applied multiple places, over 200 places within the last 3 years, trying to find a job. And I think I had at least 10 interviews, I would say, this summer at different positions and stuff. Most of them were within 2 different districts. But I have finally been hired, so I now get to continue with my program. So I am so excited. So basically the way that this program works is that your springtime from about February through May, you're taking what's known as pre-service courses. These are the courses that the state has determined that you need to take in order to go enter the classroom as a teacher at the very basic level. There's some commonalities between elementary, middle, secondary, and mild moderate, and then there's obviously some that are a little bit different. So I've essentially created those set of courses twice, one for the elementary, one for the mild moderate. What will be happening, and then now that I've gone hired, I will actually be teaching under what is known as a district intern credential. This means I am not an official credential teacher. However, I have done enough to be able to be the teacher on record, which basically means a district intern credential basically means that I am the teacher. I am allowed to be the teacher. I'm the teacher on record. But my credential's not finished. I'm still taking classes to finish it. So just like my students, I will also be going to class and then this will be going on for 2 years. So this is from September through May. For 2 years, I will be continuing to take classes. The way that my program does it is that our classes are on Saturdays from about 9 to 4. So I work Monday through Friday as a teacher. Saturday I am going to class for myself, and then Sunday I get the day off. So I will be going to classes for 2 years, and then I will be able to walk out with a preliminary credential in California, which is the same kind of credential you would walk out of a university with. California does require you to clear your credential within 5 years. Normally, the way that you would do that if you were going through a university program is you would get your preliminary credential after finishing your student teaching and everything. Then you would have to go through a teacher induction or beginning teacher program, and you would have to do 2 years of that to be able to then clear your credential, and you have a 5-year time span to be able to do that. The way that our credential program works is we have 2 years in our program that we have to do where we are working and taking classes for 2 years. Then, in order to clear a credential, we have to do 1 more year of the beginning teacher program that the other students do. Some people call it BITSA. There's different acronyms and things for it, but we have to do 1 year. So we our program is essentially 3 years, but it's combined with a credential. So it's 2 years of a credential plus 1 more year of new teacher support, and then we will have our credential cleared. So the good thing is that the plus about that is that once I'm done with my program, I only have to wait a year to clear my credential. The downside is that I have to go for school for 2 years. I really like this credential, and I think it works for people that are especially with families or switching careers, because as I mentioned, I am the teacher on record with my district intern credential, which means I get paid to be a teacher, but I still have to go to class at the same time. This works a little bit more for people that are switching careers because you're able to basically switch from your one career to your other career without having to take time off like you would for student teaching and stuff. So I am excited. I will definitely share with you guys and take you guys along with this journey. And So, you guys have now heard what my job is, or roughly what my job is, how I got my job, and then the credential program that I'm going through. If you are interested in hearing about the rest of my life as a special education teacher, you're interested in knowing more about special ed and what that actually entails as a teacher, or you are interested in a first-year teacher and how they do it, or maybe you're interested in an intern teacher and kind of some of the things that they're experiencing a little bit different, because it's definitely different experiencing school as a first-year intern teacher than a first-year teacher who has not done student teaching. So, if any of that is interesting to you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can follow along on the rest of my journey. If any of this sounded interesting to you, give it a like, share it out with your friends, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!